Hi, my name's Aaron Curry, and in this video, I'm going to tell you about a high demand and low competition opportunity to make £25,000 profit per year from just one house, starting with none of your own money. And I'm going to show you how you can manage it with just 5 minutes a week of your time. Now, I know that sounds unbelievable, and I know that sounds too good to be true. And that's exactly how I felt when I first stumbled upon this strategy, when I became an accidental landlord with this strategy back in 2015. But what happened next exceeded all of my property expectations. You know, with a 20-year property veteran that I was, over 200 properties in my portfolio, I didn't think that anything could surprise me anymore in property. And this shocked me because of the huge profits with virtually no work. Okay, the results were so good that I did some digging to find out if this was a fluke, this property I'd found was a fluke, or if I should start buying more of these high cash flow houses. And what I discovered is a booming trend. It was a booming trend before this year, and now it's even more of a booming trend. And right now, you can jump on this booming trend when there's virtually no competition. This is your chance. If you're a film lover, this is your chance to get in the DeLorean, okay, to go travel back in time with Michael J. Fox, travel back in time and buy Apple stock in 1980 before Apple boomed like it did. This is your chance to jump on a trend like that. Just think how that would transform the quality of your life if you could do that. What I'm going to share with you today is that powerful. And I don't make that claim lightly. Today's video is the last of a 4-part series. In the first video, I revealed the little-known property trend that replaces your salary with one house. In the second video, I showed you how I turned a rundown B&B into a holiday let that puts £25,000 a year profit in our pockets, mine and my wife Layla, with only 5 minutes a week of our time. And I showed you the simple 3-step system and the 4 people that make that possible. In the third video, I showed you how to find the perfect holiday let, exactly how to find it. That's the most important step after all. If you buy a house in the wrong area, then the best booking company in the world will struggle to fill it. So you've got to buy the right house in the right area at the right price, and you can sit back and watch the money roll in. So if you haven't seen any of those other 3 videos, or you've missed any of those videos in the series, then stop this video right now and click the link on the right hand side to watch them now. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through my step-by-step system to build a property empire with none of your own money. Okay. Now, before we go any further, I'd just like to explain why the video quality is not quite how I'd like it to be. You know, we're starting to come out of lockdown now, which is great, but we still need to keep our distance from each other. So I'm not yet working with my videographer. So that's why you're seeing me with these kind of spaceship headphones on, just with my webcam, me and my webcam, teaching you this stuff. So if you want to know about a high demand, low competition opportunity to make £25,000 profit per year from just one property, starting with none of your own money, and how you can manage it with just 5 minutes of your time, and if the information to you is more important than the video quality, then you're going to love this 4-part video series. So let me start in this video by telling you how a chance conversation, literally a chance conversation, and a holiday brochure bankrolled 12 houses. You know, most people think that raising finance to build a property portfolio is hard. Okay, they say, look at little old me, I don't have any experience. You've got all the excuses under the sun. The truth is that they convince themselves that they can't do it before they've even tried. So guess what they do? Nothing. And guess what happens when you do nothing? They don't find people that will lend them the money to build their property dreams, which gives them the real world proof that they can't raise private finance. The truth is they've never tried. The only proof that they have is they didn't do anything. Here's the big secret about raising private finance. Do you want to know what it is? Ask. Ask. That is it. All you have to do is ask. Okay, you need to put it out there. If you don't ask the world for something, guess what? It can't give you it. If you ask in a confused way, guess what you get back? Confusion, muddle, nothing. But if you ask with clarity and you ask with sincerity and you put the message out there, guess what the world does? It brings you the stuff back. Okay? This might sound hyperbole. I'm going to show you the detail that sits behind that. Okay? There's one other thing you need to do as well as asking. And that extra thing, by the way, makes asking easier and more fun. What is that thing? You need to fall in love with people. And you need to care about them more than anybody else does. Okay? Now, this might sound way too simple to you. It might even sound possibly a bit woo-woo to you. Okay? Let me explain. Okay? When you first meet somebody, what you do as you're falling in love, what will you do for somebody? You'll do anything because you care passionately about them. You'll do anything for them. Okay? If you, and by the way, at that time when you're falling in love with that, how good is the quality of your life right then? There could be all sorts of rubbish going on around you and you love your life. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to be. So wouldn't it be mega? Wouldn't it be amazing to just fall in love with more people, care about more people? I'm not talking about falling in lust. I'm not talking about leaving your partners, your spouses. I'm talking about genuinely just loving and caring for people. If you fall in love with everyone that you meet, you know what? My biggest plea for the world is if everybody could just do that, what a phenomenal place we live in. But if you just fall in love with everyone you meet and you just genuinely try to help them, if that's your goal, okay? And then once you've genuinely tried to help them, you tell them about what you're doing and you ask them if they know anyone that wants a better return on their savings, then I guarantee you that you'll raise the money that you need to build your property dreams, however much that money is. And I don't make that guarantee lightly. I've done it. I'll share some stories in a bit. I've done it. I know this works. And I'm not falling in love with them, by the way, to then get their money. This isn't a trick, okay? This isn't some way of tricking people. I'm falling in love because I care. I'm falling in love because I want to help them. And then as a side note of falling in love and helping someone in their journey in life, some of them don't help you back. Some of them don't have money. But as a side note, some of them do. And then those people want to work with you. So let me tell you what happened when I fell in love with my friend's mother. 15 years ago, I went to see a friend and her mother was there. So I started talking to her mother. Okay, her mum was called Maggie, husband's called Ken, and I started talking to them. In particular, I was chatting to Maggie. Now, I just started chatting, but I go deep when I chat. Okay, I always go deep. That's who I am. I don't do surface level chat. I want to go deep because by going deep, I find out what drives and motivates somebody, and then I can make a difference in their life. I can have an impact. You know that's true, don't you? It's just the way I am. So I start going deep with Maggie and having this conversation, and they're just a couple of ways of retirement. I asked Maggie, I said, well, you know, what are you going to do when you retire? And she says, you know, it's going to be nice to have some time to do what we really want. It's going to be nice to have some time to spend together. Okay, that's your typical retirement answer, isn't it? I go, okay, no, I get that, but what are you really going to do? What are the things that you've always dreamt of doing that you really want to do, Maggie, that you've never done? What do you really want to do? Now, by the way, how many people do you think have actually had this conversation with Maggie in the last 60 odd years of her life? None. Often, not even her spouse has gone this deep. They've gone, yeah, it'd be cool to retire together. We're looking forward to it. And they've said that for the last 40 years, and they've never gone deep to work out what it looks like. How do I know this? Because I have these conversations with people all the time, and no one's ever asked me that. And I've only got one extra question. So, okay, what's it you really want to do? And Maggie kind of thinks a bit. She says, do you know what I'd really love to do? I'd love to go to Montenegro. You know, I've wanted to go for 30 years, and for whatever reason, with the kids and life and work and everything, we've just never got to go. And I go, tell me about Montenegro. What do you love about it? And she's telling me this story, and I'm just sharing that story with her. And we just chat for 20 minutes, and then they leave. And remember, this is the first time I've ever met Maggie and Ken. Okay, first time ever. So, but it was a great conversation. It was lovely to have that conversation, see her face light up as she described it, okay? Now, the next day, I'm walking down the high street in town. And guess what? I walk past the travel agents. And it reminds me of Maggie. So I go into the travel agents, I pick up a travel brochure. I say, you've got a travel brochure for Montenegro. I get a travel brochure, and I get this travel brochure. And I get one of my little nice cards out. You might have heard me teaching elsewhere about my smiley face cards. I get a nice little card out, and I just write in the card to go with the brochure, and I send it to my friend because I don't even have her mother's address. And I said, can you pass this on to your mum for me, please? Okay. And the card probably, I can't remember 15 years on exactly what it said, but it said something along the lines of, Maggie, look, you've always dreamed of going to Montenegro. It's so great to meet you the other day. You've always dreamed of going to Montenegro. You know, I was walking past the travel agents. I thought of you. Here's the brochure. Get it booked. And I just post the brochure and I think nothing of it. That's falling in love, by the way. Falling in love. There's nothing in this for me at this point. I'm not thinking about me. I've just met this beautiful soul, this lady. I love the dream that she's got, and I want to help with the dream. Okay, and I want to encourage her to get it booked, because my feeling is she's not going to book it, even though she's got the dream. People don't often live their dreams. So I post the brochure. I think nothing of it. Now, a year later, I'm catching up again with my friend. And I'm telling him about my property journey and where I am. And I explain that I'm looking for people with money because I know how to source deals, and I can source all these amazing deals. And I want more money to be able to source even more deals. Now, an hour later, by pure coincidence, her mum pops round. You know, I haven't met her mum since that day. That was the only time I'd met her. But she pops round. I've not seen her in a year. And we've spent 20 minutes chatting before now. Okay, so I can barely say that I know her. But when Maggie arrives, I say, hey, how are you doing? Brilliant to see you again. How are you? She immediately responds. She says, Aaron, you won't believe it. Thank you so much for that brochure you sent. You gave me the nudge that I needed. Ken and I have been to Montenegro. We had the most amazing, amazing time. And we chat for a little while. And as Maggie's about to leave, you know, we chat for maybe another 20 minutes. So I've spent a total of 40 minutes with this person, but I've impacted their life just by making that gift of that brochure, sending that brochure. But just about as Maggie's about to leave, my friend turns to her mum, and she says, Mum, you guys have got a lump sum came when you retired, didn't you? And she says, yeah, we got about £40,000. Why? Well, Aaron's looking for people to put money into property deals, and he pays them much more interest than you get in the bank. I thought it might be of interest. And Maggie turns to me and she says, it's yours. If you're going to pay me more than it's in the bank, it's yours. So I've literally spoken to this lady for 30 or 40 minutes in her life at that point. So why did she give a complete stranger a large chunk of her retirement savings? It was because I'd listened to her and I'd helped to try to get something that she wanted most in life. I didn't actually try very hard. Let's face it. The only thing I did was send her a free brochure. But that was enough to show that I'd listened to her and that I cared. And that's all you need to do to change someone's life, by the way. You know, if you take nothing else from this video series, if you don't invest in property, change somebody's life today. Just fall a bit more in love with them. Ask a deeper question, spend some more time. So you spend some time to find out what they really want, and then you help them get it. It's literally as simple as that. That's how you change somebody's life. And as you've seen, the money will come from the most unexpected places when you do this. I didn't know Maggie. I didn't know she had a pot of savings. I knew she wanted to go to Montenegro, and I tried to help her get there. What happened next in terms of raising finance was unexpected and more common than you'll ever imagine. You know, after all, everybody with savings wants a better return than what they're getting in the bank. Everybody, especially right now at the point that we're at right now, they're getting nothing in the bank. I've done this so many times, it's unbelievable. And by the way, when people then give you the money, Maggie's money, I used for 10 or 12 years. 10 or 12 years. I just kept doing a deal with it, getting the money back out. I'd say, Maggie, do you want it back? No, the interest's great. We do it again. Do you want it back? No, the interest's great. We do it again. And I end up buying all these properties, all those properties, 12 properties that I have in my portfolio, I would not have if I hadn't have fallen in love and sent that brochure. Wouldn't have had it. Wouldn't have had it. Okay. So people out there, and I've done this with multiple people. I'm talking lots and lots of people, and they keep going. Once they've done it once, they do it again and again and again. In fact, recently, you may have heard my goal. I've said, you know what? Now is the time of a lifetime to be buying. The time of a lifetime. And I've set a written goal. I haven't been buying a lot of property in the last 10 years. It's kind of 200 properties was kind of more than enough, was what some people would say. But it's just the time of a lifetime. So I've set a written goal to buy another £7 million worth of property in the next 9 months or so. £7 million worth, okay? And do you know what I said? I said I'm going to do it all with JV money. So I went out to raise £2.5 million. I've raised £1.5 million worth of JV money. 3 people give me £500,000 each, and another 2 are very close to doing so, okay? Just asking. and falling in love. That's what you need to do. Okay. Now, the falling in love bit you can do. You might not be good at it so far. You might be brilliant at it. You might be someone who falls in love too fast. There's never too fast for this. Okay. You might fall in lust too fast. That's a different thing. But what I'm saying is fall in love. But how do you ask? Let me help you to understand. How do you ask to do this? How do you ask? Okay. Let me get up in front of you the slides where I can teach you how you ask this. And I can take you through these slides kind of a step at a time and literally share with you my 30-second tool that helps you raise 100K in private finance. Because by the way, with this strategy that I'm teaching you right now in this video set, you raise £100,000, you're in. You're in. And this is the easiest strategy by a million miles. This is the easiest strategy to raise other people's money. I'll cover that. I'll show you how to ask. You know how to fall in love. I'll show you how to ask, and then I'll show you why it's the easiest way to do this. Okay. So let me share with you the 30-second tool to raise 100K in private finance. The 30-second tool is what I call your property identity. Your property identity. Well, what is your property identity? It literally is a 4-sentence piece that you're going to use everywhere and anywhere. Makes it totally and utterly clear who you are, what you're looking for, and whether somebody is the right match for you or not. Okay? So let me talk you through one of these 4 sentences, property identities, and then let me show you some examples of them so you can craft your own. Okay, and then let me tell you where to put them so you can start putting them out there and raising money. Okay, so, and by the way, you can use these identities to look for money. You can use them to look for deals. You can use them to look for people to work with you. You can use them in lots of ways. So there's 4 things that every property identity needs to have in it. It needs to have, first of all, what you bring to the table. It needs to have you building your piece, doing a little bit of bragging. It needs to have what you're looking for, and it needs to have a location. So let's cover each of these in brief step-by-step with you. Okay. So first of all, you need to bring one or more of the following to the table: time, money, and experience. So when I started investing in property, I put in all the time. I had somebody else putting in the money, but neither of us had any experience. And guess what happened? We ran head first into huge problems because neither of us have the experience. The first 10 houses were a nightmare. Okay, we were losing hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds, a couple of times tens of thousands of pounds. And it was somebody else's money that I was wasting or losing at the time. So there must be time, there must be money, and there must be experience. Which of those 3 do you bring to the table? Do you bring the time and experience and you're looking for an investor with money? Do you bring experience and time and you're looking for deals? Okay, it's really important to focus on the 3 core assets that you bring to the table. Which of these 3 you bring to the table? Secondly, you then need to build your piece. You know, people in the UK, it's just awful. People in the UK, we're taught to be really reserved. We're taught to not brag at all or tell anyone why we're good at anything. You know, there's lots of things in the US that don't float my boat, but there's lots of things that do. And one of the things that does is the fact that they brag a little bit. If they do something well, they tell you about it. And it drives us British people crazy, but actually it's a great thing. You need to build your piece. By the way, if you don't know what you're great at, because some of you will be going, well, I've never done property before, I don't have any experience. Okay. You know, you might be saying those kind of things, but just because you haven't done property, just because you don't have experience, doesn't mean you're not great at anything. You're a human being. All human beings are great at millions of things. And if you don't know, by the way, text a few of your friends. I know this might sound crazy. Literally pause the video and text some of your friends and say, hey, I'm watching this video and it's saying to ask my 5 best friends what the things are that I'm great at. Just wondered if you could text me back and tell me. Now, some of them might text you back sarcastically to start with, okay? When they do, just text them back and say, no, I get that, ha, ha, ha. But seriously, would you just tell me what I'm great at? By the way, it'll create a massive fall in love moment because they're going to tell you some things you're great at. You're going to message back and go, by the way, I think you're great at this, this, and this. And you're going to have a real special moment with your friend and go a bit deeper than you've probably been before. But you get these things that you're great at and you just build your piece a little bit. You might be great at planning and organizing. You might be great at getting things done. You might be great at pulling a team together. What are you great at? Find that out and put it in here. If you don't know, ask some people. The third thing, what are you looking for? You need to be really clear. So you might say, I'm looking for investors with over £250,000. By the way, always go big. Go big or go home. Always go big. Okay? If you ask for £250,000, the most you'll get is £250,000. But if you ask for £40,000, guess what? The most you get is £40,000. So even if they've got 250, they still only give you 40. So ask big, think big. So you might say, I'm looking for investors with over £250,000. You might say, I'm looking for 200 plus investment properties with a 20% discount I can buy today. Okay, that's a property identity I've used before. So you need to think big. Fourth piece, location. Where are you looking to buy your properties? And it's not anywhere in the UK. You want to be specific so somebody can focus their brain to go yes or no. So you might say in Manchester, or you might say in Norwich, or you might say in North Yorkshire. You want to be specific with the location so people can plug into it. Now, when you bring these four pieces together, it becomes a 15-second tool that you can use in so many ways. Let me give you an example, okay? So here's an example. Here's one of mine for holiday lets. Hi, my name's Aaron, and I specialise in holiday lets in Yorkshire. I've got the time and experience with over 200 properties to build great portfolios. So I've been really clear. I've got the time and experience here. Okay, I'm looking for money. I'm saying I bring time and experience. I've bragged a little bit, over 200 properties to build great portfolios. I'm looking for investors, really clear what I'm looking for, with 500K plus who would like a superb cash flow today and great long-term growth. Okay, I'm looking for investors with 500K plus who would like superb cash flow today and great long-term growth. Do you know anyone like that? Now, you will put 500K. You may be not buying at my level yet, but you might put 100K, 250K. Do you know anybody like that? Now, it's really, really easy when someone sees those four sentences to go, yes, me, I've got 500K, I'm interested. To go, no, I don't have 500K, but my friend Johnny does over here. Can I introduce them? Or just to say, my friend Johnny does, and then I ask for an introduction. Or to go, no, I don't know anyone like that. How many networking events have you been to where you spend 20 or 30 minutes in the break chatting to the same person, and by the end of that chat that you've had with that person, you actually realize you've had a nice time, but neither of you is going to be able to help each other in property going forward. So actually that 20 or 30 minutes was wasted. It was time you're not going to be able to use long term to get you to where you need to get to. Okay? This allows you, in the opening conversation, as you meet them, you say this piece. You literally say this is your introduction as you meet them. And they then go, yes, me. And they're very interested. Or no, not me, but actually my friend, great, Johnny here? Yeah, good, I'll go see him then. Okay? Or no, I don't know anybody like that. Fine, well, it was great to meet you, but if it's okay, I'm here to meet people, like-minded people, so it's really lovely to meet you, but I'm going to go meet some more people. And you see 10 or 15 people in the break. I can teach you how to move on politely, do that properly. You meet 10 or 15 people in the break, gives you 15 times as much chance of finding some money as just meeting one. Okay, so that's my example property identity. Here's another one. Okay, hi, my name is John, and I specialize in serviced accommodation in Leeds. Okay, really, really clear, serviced accommodation in Leeds. I've got the expertise and time to turn a buy-to-let property into a property that makes £1,000 a month. Now, that's interesting. If you've got a buy-to-let, you're going to be interested in that. It turns a buy-to-let property that makes 100 or 200 a month into one that makes 1,000 a month. I'm looking for landlords who would like to get better returns on their buy-to-lets. Do you know anyone like that? Now, by the way, if you're a landlord and you had a property in Leeds, I bet that would interest you. You'd be at least interested in talking to John to see what he's got to say. 4 sentences, that is it, but to attract people. Now, that's not to attract money, that particular one, okay? Let me introduce you to a very special person, an investor on my £12,000 VIP program. And this investor is based in Nottingham. This is a guy called Andy, okay? Andy had been on my VIP program for 6 months, okay? And I kept telling him to write and use a property identity to raise money to buy more properties. He had some properties already, but use a property identity to raise money with other people. And for 6 months, whilst he was on the program, he kind of didn't get round to doing it, okay? Just didn't get round to doing it. Something was getting in the way. So get me, I understand that this is new to you, and I get the concept of taking those 4 sentences and start putting them out there to the world is new to you. And when something's new, you feel fearful about it. You know, Andy's a great guy, but he felt fearful. You know, he just wasn't quite comfortable putting it out there to start with, okay? So he just didn't get around to doing it. Now, the beauty of joining a VIP program or joining any of my education programs is the people that you surround yourself with, okay? Other ambitious property investors that help you succeed. And that's exactly what happened with Andy. You know, the peer group that he's around start doing it and they're getting results. So it's not just me telling him, the peer group are actually physically doing it. And he's like, oh gosh, I do need to do this. And eventually he does what I say. He creates his property identity, which is what I've already taught you in this piece just now. But he creates his property identity, and he takes his property identity and he goes out there looking for money. Now, in a moment, I'm going to share with you Andy's actual property identity. But first, let me share with you what happened when he used it. Okay, so Andy videos himself. You don't need to video this. You can just put it out in words, but he literally videos himself. It's a 15-second video, and he's no clue what he's doing. He's got his wife, Rose, holding the video camera, which is kind of shaking in her hand, and he literally says his 4 sentences into the phone, into the video, and he takes that video and he puts it up onto Facebook. He literally just puts that up onto Facebook. Okay, that's it. That's all he does. And he says, do you know what? Anybody interested? And what happens is magical. Literally straight away, one of his close friends messages back going, me, on Facebook, me. He's like, wow. And he gets chatting to his close friend, and his close friend says, I might be interested. And he's got £40,000. So they have a conversation. He ends up with £40,000. Now, another friend also messaged back, goes, well, I might be interested. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about it. And he ends up a few weeks later, he goes to a barbecue with that friend and a few other friends. There's 6 of them sat around chatting, okay? And you know, normally in social scenes, social settings, the conversation rarely in the UK turns to money or investing because people don't like to pry. They don't like to talk about money. But this time it's different because everyone at the barbecue has seen Andy's post. So once somebody asks about it, everyone goes, yeah, what was that about? What was that? So it gives Andy permission to talk about it. So they start talking about it. And that's 6 people that all want a better return on their money without taking crazy risks. And if Andy follows up with them, which he is doing in the way that I've taught him, he's going to get at least one of those, but probably more that will want to put their money into deals with Andy as well. So let's take a look at just the 4 sentences that helped Andy with one post to raise £40,000. Here it is. Hi, my name is Andy, and I specialise in serviced accommodation in Nottingham and Sheffield. I'm looking for people who would like to safely and securely earn 50 times as much interest on their savings. How many people do you think would like that? Everybody. So it's a great line, as they do in the bank. You could copy this, by the way. It's yours. I'm giving it to you. Hi, my name's Andy. You need to change your name in here, unless you're called Andy, and change what you specialise in. But I specialise in service accommodation, Nottingham and Sheffield, looking for people who would like to safely and securely earn 50 times as much interest on their savings as they do in the bank. Do you know anyone like that? Money raised instantly. This is not a one-off. I teach my students, I get 2 or 3 emails a week, people raising money. I'll share just one more. This is Lorraine. Lorraine is another member of my VIP group who I shared some of the secrets with. Now, she's an action taker. So I told her about the property identity. I showed her how to create it, and I showed the power of it. She puts up just one post. Hers wasn't even a video. It's just the 4 sentences. And she gets somebody that contacts her that went to school with her 25 years ago. She's not seen them for 25 years. And even back at school, they weren't the best of friends. They were just kind of acquaintances back then. And he says, do you know what? I've just sold my business. I've got quite a lot of money in the bank. What's this all about? She raises £100,000 from one post. So she gets this 100 grand, and she's doing my other training on sourcing deals, and she knows exactly the deals to source and exactly how to do this. And guess what? They do a great deal. The guy turns back around and says, that's amazing. I'm making a great return. This is fantastic. By the way, I'm happy to put another 300 or 400K into this. One post has raised £400,000 to £500,000. And what did Lorraine need to achieve that? Okay, she needed to know what deals she was presenting to people, but she needed a property identity. She needed to know how to ask. And then she asked and she used it. That was it. You know, what happened next for Lorraine is literally life-changing. Literally life-changing. So where do you use this property identity? You use it at networking meetings. So when you meet somebody, it's the first thing you lead with. Your email signature, you just add it on the bottom. So people start to see it. You add it on the bottom. You post it on Facebook 3 times a day. How fast does a Facebook wall disappear? Virtually instantly. So 3 times a day, different times a day, you just put it out there. You post it on LinkedIn 3 times a day. If you've got a business card for property, if not, get one if you haven't, but your business card, the back of it, people normally leave blank. What a waste. You put your property identity on the back of it. And you just put this out there. You start putting this message out there. You start asking. Ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. So we know now we need to fall in love with people. As we're meeting people, fall in love with them. You don't fall in love and ask straight away. That's horse trading. You know, I'll treat you nice if you give me money. That's not, you fall in love with people. And separately, you just ask like crazy. Ask, 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 ask. Okay? I've taught this to 15-year-olds. I've taught this to 85-year-olds. This stuff works. This stuff works. And people want a better return on their money. They want to get their money working for them. And they want to work with someone they know, like, and trust. They get to know, like, and trust with you if you fall in love and care about them. Okay? So now once you've found someone with savings that wants a better return than what they're getting in the bank, what do? Well, first of all, you fall in love with them. If they've responded to a Facebook advert, you don't ring them up and go, yeah, this is great, come join me. You're selling your thing then. You fall in love with them. You say, well, what are you looking for? What's important to you? And if what you've got is not the right thing for them, don't even tell them about it. Just say, oh, actually, we're probably not the right fit, but actually, I might be able to help you over here, or I might be able to help you with this. Just help them as a human being on a journey, okay? But if they are potentially the right fit for you, if they have got money and that money would be useful for you, how do you structure the deal? Well, there's 2 ways that I'd like to share that with you today as well. There's massive teaching in this video. So here's the 2 ways. Now, the first of those ways is the most generous. And it just works a dream with holiday let strategy. Works an absolute dream, okay? And it's what I call a 50-50 joint venture, okay? You both share the risk. You both share the reward. You're going to do all the work to find and buy the right house, okay? After that, once you've done all the work, you know it's only going to take you 5 minutes a week. They don't know that. You're going to be open with it. You can even tell them how you're going to set it up, and it will. But they need you for all of that work. They need you for all that setup. They need you for those 6 C's that I taught in video 3 to only ever buy the right house. And they put in the money. Now, if you get a house then that makes 30K of profit a year, let's say, each of you is going to make 15K each. So let me ask you a question. If you had £100,000 in the bank right now today, if you had 100,000, and I said, I know how to do this inside out, back to front, and you're going to make £15,000 a year return on investment. 15,000, so 15% return on investment. When in the bank you're getting nothing or 0.1. Would you be interested? Would that pique your interest? If I then said on top of that, there'll be profit from the refinance that I taught you in video 3. On top of that, there'll be equity growth that I taught you in video 3. On top of the 15% return on investment. So it ends up being a 30% return on investment plus. Do you think people would? Do you think you would be interested? Yes, you would. So therefore, do you think other people would? If you just learn how to put this across to them, okay? The simple answer is yes. Yes, they would be interested. Okay, people just like Maggie. And how do you find your people just like Maggie? You ask. Ask and you shall receive. And when you're being that generous, when you're offering them a 50% share, you'll find it very easy to find people to bankroll your property dreams. And that's what Holiday Let brings to the table. Even if the property's only making you 20,000 a year, it's 10% return for them, 10,000 each, plus all the growth and everything else. Now, the second way is less generous, but interestingly, sometimes it's easier to sell to somebody. You give someone a guaranteed return on the investment. They don't need the investment to work. It doesn't matter to them whether you get great bookings or not. You guarantee the return. You can go to them like Andy did and say, I'll give you 50 times better return than you're getting in the bank. That's just 5% these days, which is real super cheap borrowing for you. So if you're giving them 5%, it's a great deal for you and it's a great deal for them. It makes them feel safer. They've got the certainty they're getting 5% whatever happens with your bookings. And that's 50 times what they're getting in the bank. So they're over the moon. You guarantee them that fixed return and you let them secure it against the house that you're going to buy. They take a second charge on the house. They don't actually take it out, but they take a second charge. I can teach you how to do that. And let's say you borrow 100K and you buy and refurb a rundown B&B. After 6 months or 2 years, you can refinance it and get that money back and pay a chunk of the loan or all the loan back. But you still own 100% of the house. And you get to put the 30K a year in your pocket. Whilst you're paying them the interest, they're getting 5,000, 5% return, and you're getting 25K. That's pretty nice. You get 25, they get 5. And then once you compare them back, you get all 30. Are you excited by this? If you're not, you should be. You need to be excited. This is amazing. Just with one house and one person with 100K. What if you get 10 houses and 10 people with 100K, or the same one person with 100K, but you just do it 10 times? Now, we've come a long way over these 4 videos, and there's still a long way to go if I'm going to show you exactly how to make £25,000 profit from one house, starting with none of your own money, and how you can manage it with just 5 minutes a week. And that's why I'd like to invite you to a live webinar this Wednesday night. Live webinar called How I Turned a Rundown Seaside B&B into a 25K cash machine, and how I run it with only 5 minutes a week. So somewhere around this video, there's a link for you to join the live webinar. Here's just a taste of what you'll discover. I'm going to teach you how to hit the income sweet spot with the booming property trend. I'm going to teach you the 6 simple steps to buy the right house to seize this low risk, high profit and 0 time investment strategy. And I'm going to show you how to build your property dreams with other people's money. I started my property journey with an empty bank account. Today, I've got over 200 properties in my personal portfolio, and I'll show you how you can do exactly the same. Plus, when you join me live on the webinar this Wednesday, I'll give you my Section 24 impact calculator. You'll be able to put in your salary and your property income numbers and see the impact that Section 24 is going to have on your wealth. That's for you if you've got property already, that you already own properties. And I'll show you the one thing that you need to do to sidestep Section 24 and make your property income tax-free for the next 12 months, okay? So there's just loads of really valuable content. So to join me live on Wednesday night, just click the link that's somewhere below or somewhere around this video, click the link, register, join me, get it locked in your diary, join me this Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. I can't wait to share with you more of this strategy, more of how you can be moving forward with your property investing and securing a financial future for you and a fortress that protects you and your family literally for generations to come. Invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom. I'll see you really soon. Click the link right now. Join me for free on this Wednesday's webinar. I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.